Did you know there is a huge theme park right near the Great Pyramids of Giza? Just 8 miles or about a 20-minute drive from this worldwide destination is Dream Park, Egypt's largest theme park. It's located in a part of Giza known as 6th of October, although this location was not very accurate for us because we went on the 1st of March. And they are home to dozens of rides and attractions, including 3 roller coasters. The park opened its doors in 1998 and was definitely influenced by other successful worldwide destinations like Universal Studios. They have their own little budget city walk out front, a Disneyland-style front entrance with a train station, a movie-themed land, and certainly an odd collection of attractions, including several major flats, antique cars, a petting zoo, boat rides, and more. I had the opportunity to experience Dream Park during my first and only visit to Egypt, and as of now is the largest theme park in Africa that I personally have experienced. So I was really curious to see how it would compare to other parks that I've been to around the world. And in this review, I'm going to do my best to describe those experiences to you in detail. Now, first things first, gotta get this out of the way. I do not recommend going to Egypt just to experience Dream Park. This is something that you should visit while you happen to be in the area. Come to Egypt to experience iconic destinations like the pyramids, and if you happen to have time, come see what this place is about, but I do not recommend renting a car to get here. The streets of Cairo are unbelievably chaotic, and Uber is very common, very safe, and dirt cheap. So from the pyramids, we are dropped off at the park, which happens to be right next to a mall. You can see their largest roller coaster, named Roller Coaster, from several miles away. But before we could even step foot into the park, we are greeted by their own version of City Walk. This is like their main street before you even step foot through the turnstiles. Tons of stores with a very colorful and kinda weird vibe. Certainly some what I would call store brand locations, like this one that was clearly inspired by Hard Rock Cafe. And as their backdrop, you have this huge hotel called the Helnan Dreamland Hotel, which honestly reminded me of the new Helios Grand Hotel going to Epic Universe. But sorry, Universal, Egypt did it first. We were immediately impressed by the amount of people that were here. On this same trip, we experienced a lot of theme parks in the Middle East, many of which were completely dead. So we thought this place was going to be a ghost town. However, it was actually pretty lively. Dream Park typically opens around 1 or 2 p.m. and then closes around like 9 or 11 p.m. From other videos I've seen, it seems like it's pretty empty during the day, but then comes alive at night as people go to escape the heat. Gotta love those long hours. And if you're coming from just about any other country, you'll find that the exchange rate in Egypt makes everything very affordable. We paid about $8 to get into Dream Park. But that was just based off of the one ticket that we bought. They actually offer several different types, ranging from like gold, silver, platinum. And it seems like the most expensive ticket is around $15 per person. And each ticket just offers flexibility based off of like which attractions are included. And if you don't have an all-inclusive ticket, rides like the Vekoma SLC will be an upcharge, a full $1.50. So you gotta love that. Our group of 4 at one point got a meal at Dream Park and we paid a total of $9. But you can just get those tickets upon entry. Don't even bother with the website. It's completely useless. But first impressions of that front gate were honestly impressive. I love the huge letters spelling out the name of the park that you walk directly under. And that initial plaza is very open with lots of these beautiful palm trees. Plenty of places to sit down and chill. We also immediately noticed an array of stray cats wandering around. This is pretty common while you're in Egypt, that there are just stray animals everywhere, and Dream Park is no exception. We're also greeted by some costume characters that were a little creepy, not gonna lie. They can be seen walking around the park. I believe the mascot of Dream Park is this guy named Doobie. He has his own themed land that we'll discuss later on. I'm not sure if that is an original character or related to something within Egyptian culture, but it was certainly interesting to see. Certainly no Mickey Mouse, but they don't have the rights to that, but it certainly didn't stop them with other things throughout the park. Just after you walk in, you might notice one of the Smurfs. Some stores selling all sorts of memorabilia from Disney characters, Universal characters, all sorts of things that make you wonder, is that allowed? But the general rule of thumb when you're in Egypt is kind of just anything goes. As long as you don't hurt yourself or others, they don't really care. So yeah, you'll find plenty of rides here that like don't have restraints or have restraints that like don't really do anything. Some rides that you would consider neutered in the US, like bumper cars, because you can just only travel in a circle. Well, here, you can just pummel each other head on, no seatbelt or anything. That boat ride with that huge splash there at the end, yeah, you can stand up while the boat is still moving. You want the ride ops to check your restraint? Well, too bad, they're just gonna send it. Better hope you're in there. We noticed these trends throughout our visit, and it was certainly a big change of pace from what we were used to. And it certainly made me question the safety and maintenance practices of Dream Park. Some cases were more obvious than others, like with the Vekoma SLC roller coaster. You can see that they have one operating train while the other two sit in literal pieces over on the transfer track, clearly appearing like they haven't run in years. And the restraints that are working aren't looking too hot either. I wouldn't be shocked if this ride hasn't been serviced in years, and I feel like there's no way Vekoma would approve of the condition of this ride. And just the overall vibe of Dream Park felt run down and outdated. I mean, clearly they've been in business for almost 3 decades, but it also seems like they haven't added anything new in a long time. 2 of their roller coasters opened in 1998 with the park, and then the SLC opened the following year, and they have not built a new roller coaster since. So they might just make enough to keep the place going, and that's fine with them. Despite the park not appearing in tip-top condition, guest satisfaction seemed to be extremely high. Everyone that we saw was having a great time. The people were happy, and it brought a very positive energy as we were walking around. I can't imagine many of these guests have visited a lot of other theme parks, so this really is their Disneyland. So I'll quickly just run through a couple of the attractions that they offer here. First, the 3 roller coasters. Our smallest is a Vekoma Junior coaster, which is either called Family Coaster or Orient Express. There are 2 different signs on the entrance that made it very unclear which one is the actual name. Regardless, it's just a classic clone layout that you can find all over the world, but what made it fun was this Japanese temple right over the station, which was really neat. Nice and smooth ride. Dark Ride is their medium-sized roller coaster. It's called Dark Ride because it is a ride in the dark, not to be confused with a dark ride, which this park has none of. This is a Vekoma Enigma coaster, which was actually great. All of our favorite rides in the park. It's a fun layout with lots of helices, great pacing, some impressive near misses, and frankly stands out in the world of indoor roller coasters compared to a lot of other attractions I think of that just leave you a little underwhelmed. Just don't expect any theming inside the building. And then finally, we have the Vekoma SLC, which is just called roller coaster. As I mentioned, the ride looks to be in really bad condition, yet somehow, from a rider's perspective, it wasn't the worst. I have definitely experienced worse Vekoma SLCs, which is funny because this is actually one of the larger models with that extended helix at the end. And frankly, that was probably the smoothest part of the ride. This ride was absolutely popular with the public. We only rode it once, which was in the front row. It's possible that that could be the smoothest row on the train. Frankly, we were just happy that we actually got to ride up front because I know during our friend El Toro Ryan's visit to this park, the front row for this ride was completely closed off because an employee said it was too popular. And so they just closed it off so no one could ride there, and that's just savage. So they must have changed their minds. But the big thing that makes this ride famous is that you can see the Great Pyramids of Giza from the top of this ride, and that is what made the experience worth it, not everything else that comes after. Beyond the roller coasters, this park has a Husk Condor. Those are getting kind of rare. I was surprised to see one here. I liked this pineapple flat ride, even though it wasn't in operation for us. It was literally in pieces, but it was still cute. This boat ride made a huge splash, and even though the water looked kind of suspicious, it was very popular with their audience. They have a Husk Top Spin called Top Spin, a Husk Drop Tower, the rare shot and drop, kind of like an S&S tower. This antique car ride that didn't allow you to steer and there was no gas pedals, so you just kind of rode around and looked at the scenery, which naturally was a bunch of dinosaurs, because why wouldn't it? They had something called Tornado Simulator, which I assumed to be like a 4D theater, and this chill boat ride that was a super long experience and took us through a cave, under bridges, past rockwork. A very relaxing ride that probably could honestly be sped up a bit. It was like really slow. And as of now, needs more scenery because it's just not that visually interesting to look at. Beyond the attractions, Dream Park overall has a circular layout with an attempt made at theming different sections such as movie Adventureland right when you walk in, and then this very colorful section themed to Doobie featuring a castle. It honestly reminded us of Candyland. Some of the characters depicted on the buildings were really strange, but somehow charming. in a way. So in conclusion, Dream Park's attraction lineup is nothing special, but for what it is, we actually had a great visit. We spent several hours here. We enjoyed the positive energy. As Americans, we were absolutely like superstar celebrities walking around. I can't imagine they're used to seeing foreigners at a theme park. Sarah alone might as well have been Taylor Swift, the amount of girls that were like screaming, trying to take pictures with her. Quite a different sight from what we're used to at other theme parks around the world. But we are still absolutely glad that we went. But as of right now, I don't think that I really need to go back. As a tourist, Dream Park for me felt like a one and done. Even if I found myself back in Cairo, I probably wouldn't return. There's nothing there that really grabs me. This is really a theme park for the locals. A fun place for them to come, spend an evening, enjoy some food, ride some rides, and it seems to be successful in that department. So let me know down in the comments below if you have ever experienced Dream Park in Giza, Egypt. What was your experience? Or if you have an upcoming visit planned for Egypt, do you think you'll make the stop? Let me know, and of course stay tuned for more park reviews here at Coaster Studios, and I'll see you next time.